Okay, so we are going to read the poem My Last Duchess, written by Robert Browning. Akib, where is your sheet? Written by Robert Browning. So I'll be reading line by line just to make you understand like what happens in the poem. It's certainly the poem the way you expect. It's not a poem of your expectation, but it never fulfills your expectations because of its psychopath ingredients that exist in this poem. Probably Robert Browning, the poem that he has written, it's one of his best poems that ever produced, and it's kind of like a story being told using the poetical devices. Let's read it. My Last Duchess. Now, if you just start with the poem, My Last Duchess, what does it indicate? My ex-duchess, right? So what does it mean being ex? It means that it could be like the ex means like she is living but she's no more with me, or probably, but when we read the whole poem we understand that she is no more actually. So it's meaning that you are reading the poem of already a dead duchess, right? Let's go for it. Ferrara, what's the meaning of Ferrara? A name of a place. And who is the Duke? And the poem who is narrating this whole poem, he's the Duke of Ferrara. Clear? Let's read it. I believe all of you will understand it. And it's an easy poem. If you give concentration, it becomes difficult if you just miss it. If you just miss the sequence. Let's read it. Please keep your phone silent so that we can finish it by 15 minutes, the English lectures. Then we'll be explaining it in Bangla again, just for your understanding. That's my last duchess painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. I call that piece a wonder now. Fra Pandov's hands work busily a day, and there she stands. Well, please you sit and look at her. I say it, Fra Pandov by design, for never read strangers like you that pictured countenance, the depth and passion of its earnest glance, but to myself the turn, since none puts by the curtain I have drawn for you, but I. Pause. Now, what he says actually, whom he is speaking to? The emissary. The emissary. What's the purpose of that word, emissary? He's the marriage maker, right? Marriage maker, right? Okay. So he's the marriage maker. Done. And what was the Duke explaining? 11 batch. Tajian. What was the Duke explaining? What was the Duke explaining? Simple. Imagine that when the guy came, and what's the poem? It's being narrated in which form? There's a term. What's the name of the term? Dramatic monologue. What's the meaning of monologue? Very simple. One speaker, one listener. And what's the difference? The listener will never speak. Clear? The speaker will speak only. And the whole poem, you find that who is speaking? The Duke is speaking. Great. So let's go for it. Now, how does the Duke start actually? He starts something like that. When the guy came to him with the proposal, he says that, look here. What was he showing actually? He was showing his previous duchess. And he says that, look at the picture. She seems alive. She seems what? Alive. When you call a picture, seeing the picture, you call it like she looks alive, meaning that the picture looks so lively, right? The picture is absolutely giving you the flavor of a living creature. Then you call it, absolutely alive. So the picture, who drew the picture for the Duke? Fra Pandolf. Who is the artist? Fra Pandolf, right? Fra Pandolf. He drew the picture for whom? For the Duke. Now he says that, now it's something like he just moved the curtain for the imagery, he just presses the button and the curtain moves on. And when the curtain moves on, and what's the picture it comes out? The picture of what? The Duchess, right? And then he starts to narrate the story, what happened with the Duchess. Clear. Now, Fra Pandulf, who was one of the greatest artists of that time, he also said that. What he said that the picture that he drew, whose picture he drew? The Duchess. He says that, it cannot be reproduced again. It cannot be what? Reproduced again. And he says that, look at the line, he said, strangers like you that picture countenance, the depth and passion of its earnest glance. Meaning that the way Fra Pandulf has drew the picture is like that all the emotions are coming out from the face of the Duchess. It looks absolutely lively, beautiful. It looks absolutely, scintillating. It's because of the way he drew the picture. It seems that the smile that she has got on her face, it looks so real that you cannot differentiate whether it's a fake smile or it's a real smile. And Fra Pandulf is also saying that it cannot be reproduced. It cannot be reproduced again. It cannot be what? Reproduced again. Now, look at this. But to myself the turn, since none puts by the curtain I have drawn for you but I. And who has the permission just to draw the curtain? The Duke only. No one can just, look at this picture except the Duke gives you the permission. It's being hidden. What does it suggest? It means that the Duke used to love the Duchess a lot, right? He wanted to preserve her. And look, no one dares to look at her. No one. It's something like, so now how will you describe the psychology of the Duke? It means that he was extremely possessive. This is what it comes, right? So when you are analyzing the poem, it shows that when he says that none can put by the curtains but I, it means that he was extremely possessive. Even the servant, they are not allowed to move the curtain. So this proves this guy was real possessive, extremely possessive. Done? Yes. Now it's something like that. You want to marry a beautiful lady, and then you suffer for the beauty. And all the time you just getting the idea how to protect her. No one should look at her. This becomes a problem. I think this is a common phenomena for every male creature, right? Only the Duke. So the Duke is a symbol of the male society here, right? So I think we'll be feeling sympathetic towards the Duke as well. Okay, let's go for it. Let's read the next line. So it's okay. It seems that the poem, the Duke himself is what? Positive. Extremely positive. And it's not only positive, actually. I should say that he was so vindictive, actually. He was so venomous. It means that it's something like he was jealous, extremely jealous. It's not something that only the girls become jealous, right? Boys can become jealous also. But the boys never become jealous of the assets of something. But it's a different kind of jealousy. Where? Romeo. So it becomes a different kind of jealousy, actually. It's jealousy, something like that. Look, the Duke is jealous because he has to protect the 900 years of fame, but he is jealous of his wife only. But exactly, it could be. It's maybe extreme because if something is extremely high, it becomes vulgar. It becomes oppressive. It becomes dangerous. Meaning that, when you are involved, you find that even in the real life, when a guy loves a lady too much, extremely, you find that there is always a point of doubt, always. He always doubts. You do this. And the vice versa. The girl does the same. You do this. But they never did it. Why? It's because, well, you know what? When you're too much involved with the things, You always, because, you believe that your love is not powerful enough to protect her. And then you come up with the elements of jealousy and, the slandering, the backbiting, all other things that come into the relationship, and then it becomes hell for every one of us. Okay, let's go for it now. Let's go for it. And look, what did Fra Pandolf did? When he was drawing the picture, and he was also impressed by what? By the beauty of the Duchess. And even that hurts whom? The Duke. It's something like, I called you here just to draw the picture. I didn't call you to praise the beauty of the Duchess. Right? And the Fra Pandolf was, whew. And he was drawing. But the Duke was so jealous even in that case. Let's read this line. And seem as they would ask me, if they durst, how such a glance came there. And the Fra Pandolf was asking, how such a glance came here. Meaning that, how could someone be so beautiful and emotional and expressive at the same time? The Duchess was so expressive that was visible on the picture. And that's why the Fra Pandolf was asking, how such a glance came. I mean, how did the look come here, right? It doesn't come from the human beings. That means she was too much expressive, actually. So not the first are you to turn and ask this. And the Duke was saying to the Fra Pandolf, you are not the first one who is asking this. Do your duty, just draw the picture. You don't have to say, why was she so much expressive? And now he's complaining. Look at the first complaint. Sir, it was not her husband's presence only. Look at the first complaint. Sir, it was not her husband's presence only. Meaning that the presence of the husbands, it's not the presence of the presence only called that a spot of joy into the Duchess' cheek. It's meaning that when the Duchess used to smile, now this is the first complaint of the Duke. He says that when she is smiling, it's not my presence only that makes her smile. Anyone moves around, she gives, right? Anyone moves around, and he's complaining. That was the first complaint. It's not my presence only that gives me a smile. Fra Pandolf, drawing the picture, he got the smile. Anyone moves around by her, same smile. It's something like why the Duke is jealous? Because, have something special for me.
Yes. She was using the same approach.
So, the smile that you give, you are giving the same smile for everyone. You cannot do it. It's not justified with my 900 years of faith. Right? So you find that this is jealousy and ego. Both are disturbing whom? The Duke. Ego, and I shouldn't call it ego actually. There is another term, you should learn it. That's called super ego. Super ego, yes. The highest level of ego. You cannot come down. You cannot break it down. Super ego. Now he says what? Fra Pandolf chanced to say, look, what was Fra Pandolf saying? He chanced to say, her mantle laps over my lady's wrist too much. He says that when he was drawing the picture, and look at the lap, it's something like, I wish there was an orna for me, shawl for me. When she was, no. when she was covering the whole hand, okay, and Fra Pandolf chanced to say, just move it aside. And she did move aside the shawl actually, and then he drew the picture. So the question that comes into the Duke's mind is that, how dare Fra Pandolf is asking you just to move the shawl a bit, and she is moving. How could you do that? Right? Meaning that everything that she did became, somehow torturing the mind. Yeah, too much. And she did it too much. Fra Pandolf wanted to see the hand only, but she had shown the arms as well. Buy one, get one free. It cannot be done. Right? You shouldn't be doing it. Now he says, And then he says, you know what he says? Our pain must never hope to reproduce the faint half flash that dies along her throat. Meaning that and she smiled because she was feeling blushy. She was feeling, there was a coyness in her mind. And she smiled. And Frau Pandolf exactly pictured that smile, and then she drew the picture. Now he says, look, such stuff was courtesy. What she used to think? Giving a smile is what? Courtesy. Gentleness. She thought. Read the line. Please be with me in the text. Antor, still you don't have the text. Such stuff was courtesy, she thought, and cause enough for calling up that spot of joy. Where was the joy actually? What was the spot of joy? Her cheeks. Yeah, right? She had a hurt. Now he's saying, look. Now he is praising the Duchess. She had a hurt, how shall I say? Too soon made glad, too easily impressed. Have you read the line?
Yes, sir.
There is an explanation from this line. She had a hurt, how shall I say? Now he's saying, you know what? She had a wonderful hurt. Look at the husband. He's, glorifying the beautiful qualities of the wife. She had a hurt, how shall I say? And I say, no, I don't have the words to express how beautiful hurt she has got. She had a hurt, how shall I say? Too soon made glad. Too soon? With easy thing, you can impress her. With anything, very little thing, very little gift, you can, impress her. Even with a chocolate. Even with a flower. And now he's complaining. Look at the second complaint. She had a hurt, how shall I say? Too soon made glad, too easily impressed. She liked whatever she looked on, and her looks went everywhere. And he used to like everyone. Like, you cannot use you know what, my dear, if you say that, I love everyone, is it possible? Is it applicable? No. But the Duchess had a mind. She used to love everyone. And wherever she looked on, everyone becomes a part of her smile. That was the problem. And he's saying that how could you have this kind of hurt? Like the hurt, the man, what does the Duke is asking for? The Duke is asking for that the hurt you have, it should be and has to be only for mine. But the hurt the Duchess have, she is saying that equally distributed. Right? Like a smile for everyone. Now he says, she looked on and her looks went everywhere. Sir, it was all one. And he says that, now he's saying to that emissary, he says that, it was all one. Come on. You have only one heart, and it cannot be distributed to everyone. It has to be for mine only. And he says, my favor at her breast, meaning that I did favor to her, giving her the fame and name. How many fame and name? He says, look, the dropping of the daylight in the west, the bough of cherries, some officious fool broke in the orchard. For her, the white mill she rode with around the terrace, all and each would draw from her alike the approving speech, or blush at least. He says, the Duchess, she has the luxury of riding the mule. What is the meaning of mule? Very good. The horse, but mule means the baby horse, kind of, right? She is riding, and some officious fool, a servant, get into the orchard, and he brought a flower or kind of like cherry for whom? The Duchess. And she gave what? A smile. And he says, smile for a cherry. Look at me. And he says that, look at me. Or blush at this. She thanked man. Good. Now he's saying that she used to thank man. That's very good. You should thank man. But thank somehow. I know not how. But the way you used to thank me, how? As if she ranked my gift of 900 years old name. How many years his name and fame? 900 years. If you just something like that, if I just drew a balance here, how many years? 900. 900 years. And same smile, one smile. And for a cherry, what's that? Same smile. Right? You cannot do it. And he says that she thanked man, good. He's also saying that's a very good quality, that if someone gives you something, you should what? Be thankful. But how could you be that much thankful that the smile you're giving for me, 900 years of fame, 900 years means what? It's a generation that came into the power. You are giving me the same smile. I need something extraordinary, right? This is what the Duke is feeling. Then he says, 900 years old name with anybody's gift. Can you compare a cherry and 900 years old name? No, you cannot do it. Who would stoop to blame this sort of trifling? Now he's saying that who will dare to bear this kind of torture? No one. And I'm not going to bear this as well, even had you skill. Now look, this is very indication justifying the murder. Even if you had the skill, it's meaning what? Meaning if you had a good skill that you can have a conversation with the Duchess and you can make her understandable that, well, my dear lady, don't do this. It hurts me a lot. It breaks my heart. When you give a smile for the cherry, make sure that you give one smile. And for me, at least give me 2 smiles. Right? But he's saying what? He's saying that, even if you had a skill, which I have not. Now he's saying that, if you have a good conversation skill, you can convince her. But I don't have the power to convince anyone. Who is saying that? The Duke. But do you think that, is he telling you the truth? The way he's narrating the poem, it seems that he's very much eloquent. He's very much conversive. He can speak pretty well. Right? But why is he saying that? In his speech, which I have not, to make your will quite clear to such an one, and say, now look, or she can do one thing. She could come to you, meaning that she could come to me and say that, my dear, I did this or that, please forgive me. I'm extremely sorry for that. I'm not going to smile anymore. She could have done it. This is what he's saying. I could have talked to her, but you know what? I don't have a good speaking power, so I'm not going to talk. Let us finish this, then we'll have the argument. Just this or that in you disgusts me. Or I can say that, I can go to her and say that, hey, Duchess, this is the thing, hurts me a lot. Don't do this next time. But I'm not going to do that. Why? Because I'm a duke. Right? I'm a duke, and I'm not going to say sorry to anyone. Here you miss, or there you exceed the mark. Or you can say, you know what? Hey, miss, you crossed the border. Be careful. I'm not going to say it. Why? Because, I'm duke. I'm not going to belittle to anyone. And if she let herself be listened to, I wish she took the lesson by herself. I wish she learned it by herself. I wish she noticed it by herself. It's meaning what? He could have forgiven her if she, just took the lesson by herself, but she didn't do it. Meaning that she didn't even notice that. And then he says what? Or nor plainly set her wits to use. Or she could have done, you know what? I'm always going to follow your order. I wish she did that, but she didn't do anything. And made excuse. At least she could have given an excuse. Even then it would be some stooping. But still, if she did all the things, there was something she did. I'm not going to forgive her. Look at the line. Even, look, read it. Even then would be some stooping. Still, there will be something that will hurt me, that would hurt my ego. What's that? And I choose never to stoop. and I choose what I have chosen, and I have decided, make sure that I'll be giving her a lesson that she never dares to do this thing again. Oh, sir, she smiled. No doubt. Now again, he's saying, oh, sir, she smiled, no doubt, whenever I passed her. But who passed without much the same smile? Whenever passed her, she gives what? A smile. Now he's saying that whoever passed her will get the same smile. This grew. This grew means what? I got triggered. I couldn't bear it anymore. This is the explanation that comes from this poem. This grew. I gave commands. I gave what? Commands. Then all smiles stopped together. Kullu nafsin za'iqatul maut. Right? Every soul will taste the death, right? But not this is how actually. And she's no more. He killed her. Right? He killed her. There she stands. Now look, when he is narrating the story, he is not feeling guilty. Is he feeling guilty? No. And he's saying that, he narrated whole story. This is how I murdered her, And then say, look at her. She's alive. This is a highest level of psychopath mind. When you kill someone and you narrate the whole story, you know what? This is how I have committed the murder. And then you say, I have justified the reason why I have committed the murder. And look at her. She looks alive. Look at the smile on her face. She's pretty, beautiful. Now, the symbolical meaning is that this is what the Victorian society was actually. This is how they wanted the women to be. This is how. They should be inside the curtain. They should be where? It's a metaphorical meaning. This is how. They should be inside where? The curtain. They should be inside the room. They shouldn't be coming out of the room. This is where the Victorian society was actually. And we are not telling you the story of just, 500 years ago. No, it's a story of 100 years back. Clear? This was the society of the British people. And now he says what? There she stands as if alive. Well, please you rise, we'll meet the company below. And look, the guy who was sitting with him, he's taking long breath actually. Because he was taking long breath and he was sitting still. And he's saying, now let's go, get up. But he can't get up because he's shocked absolutely. And he says that, will please you rise, we'll meet the company below. Then I repeat, the count, your master's known munificence is ample warrant that no just pretense of mine for dowry will be disallowed. Meaning any kind of dowry is allowed for what? The new marriage maker is saying that any kind of dowry is allowed for the girl that I'm going to marry. But one thing, be clear. What is that?
No smile.
At starting is my object. She's what? She's my object. I'll give her whatever she wants, but look, one condition. She's my what? Object. Not objection. Object, like, a particular thing. Okay? I will give her anything. 900 years old fame, the kingdom, the chair, the luxury of the life. But one thing she cannot do is what? She must understand. Exactly. This is what he is saying. She is my object. She has to listen whatever I say. And she is my object, and I have the right to take her life away if I want. This is what he is making you, justify. Okay, now he says that though his fair daughter's self, as I avowed at starting, is my object. Nay, we'll go together down, sir. Let's go to the stair down together. Notice Neptune though. Neptune is the goddess of sea, and he's trying to tame a horse, okay? Meaning that he's trying to control a horse, a seahorse. Thought a rarity, which Claus of Innsbruck cast in bronze for me. And there was a picture, another picture on the wall, and there was a god of the Neptune was there, and he was trying to tame a seahorse. And now what is the meaning of that? Why Robert Browning is ending the poem in this way? Why? It's meaning that the way Neptune is failing to tame the seahorse, all the men in the universe will be failing to tame a lady. Okay? And the way that Robert Browning is trying, the Duke is saying that she will be my object. She will never be your object. As a vice versa. Clear? I think clear? Thank you so much. I think stop the recording right now.